Hey, this is Brandon from ThirstGym.com. Today we're going to talk about exercise called the safety squat bar, front foot elevated reverse lunge. This is a great exercise for unilateral strength and power, but we're going to increase the range of motion by using this DC block. You can throw these mats, wooden blocks, anything you have that you can put your foot on that's relatively safe. You are going to need a safety squat bar for this. And this is just a build on the regular reverse lunge. Talked about improving range of motion, and having a bigger amount of range of motion can usually get you some more gains. So that's where this can come in place. But by doing that, we're going to make the exercise a little bit harder. So again, this is just a progression. Now, my suggestion with an exercise like this, because the athletes are having to move, make sure they can do quality single leg work. They can meet all the strength standards that you have for your facility. Don't just throw a kid into this exercise. Make sure they got some quality movements and they'll do well. We really like this for our baseball and softball population because they require so much of that single leg power and strength. But also we don't want to have them spending any time back here, especially if they're in season, they're throwing a lot. This lets us keep their shoulders relatively good and safe as well. But also really like this for some of our track and field athletes. We can kind of take the hands out of the equation, just focus on really building up the lower body, and we can really benefit from that in terms of improving our sprint times and overall our top end velocity for a lot of our athletes and their acceleration. So we're talking about being very specific here with some of the single leg piece. So what you're going to do, get underneath the bar. I like to start on the DC block personally, step away just a little bit here, and then what I'm going to do, feet together, big step back, good quality range of motion, and then come right back up. Get as close as you can to touching the ground or pretty close to it. Again, if your athlete has really bad mobility, this may not be the exercise for them. So this side's definitely easier for me. And just like that. But again, you want to make sure that if your athlete's having mobility issues getting down low enough, just stick with the regular reverse lunge itself. You don't need this. But if you got athletes who can get deep in that range of motion, or for whatever reason they need to be deep down here to be successful for whatever it is they're doing, I definitely would look into this to train that full range of motion. I really like doing this after a regular cycle of just reverse lunges, seeing if they can use those same weights, just increasing range of motion a little bit and seeing the benefits. So when it comes to programming, I really like about 3 to 5 sets, about 3 to 5 reps per side in terms of our strength piece. If we're going to talk about some hypertrophy, 6 to 8. I really don't like to go more than that. I've talked about the other one. There's just the regular reverse lunge with this that I really think if you start getting those high reps, just go with dumbbell and kettlebell work. I think it's safer, just a better alternative. I really like this more so for my in-season, preseason based athletes. And again, like I said, a lot of baseball, softball populations, and definitely track and field if we want to try to take their arms out of the equation. So again, awesome piece of equipment, but again, make sure your athletes meet the streak standards, and I think they're going to do completely fine with it. But we've just seen a lot of success with it over versus just doing back squats all the time. Again, you got to think about your population that you're working with, what they need to be successful, and especially when we talk about some of the sports that I've already mentioned, a lot of time unilateral strength is a much bigger predictor of how much better they're going to do on the field or on the court or track or whatever, versus definitely the bilateral option. Not that I don't think there's a place for that, but I think you just got to ask yourself, as you get closer to sport, pick the more sport-specific based exercises. Again, this is a little more specific. I think it's going to help them better. We've seen good results with it, and you can go back to your regular squats in the off season. So if you got any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.